Welcome to Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet you can find an uncensored version of me. Hi, I'm Rachel, and I am here with
your best friend,
Joy
Woodman.
You wanna fuck her? So, I have a confession. I am slightly tipsy.
Ooh, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Most people, if you didn't know, like to take a couple shots before they do this podcast with me. Joy is one of them.
Yes.
It helps people loosen up. Most people aren't used to having a microphone in their mouth and a camera on their face. I usually refrain from drinking because I'm better without alcohol.
Right.
And
usually you don't drink during the week and
yeah.
I always catch you on a day where I always catch you on your day where you're like, nope, we're not drinking until this or until that. But today you were the one that suggested it and I couldn't pass it up.
Because this is the last thing I need to do before I go to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're going to Mexico without me. So
you were invited. You were invited, so I don't want any of your sass.
But at least I'm here to take care of all the pups.
You are taking care of the dogs, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
But because I'm pre-recording this like a week and a half in advance.
Don't look at me. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't have a question of the day or Rachel's Rewind because the other podcast before this hasn't come out yet. Mm. But I did ask Instagram. What?
Yeah, I was going to say, I have a question of the day for you.
Oh, fuck it up. Let's go.
Okay, my question of the day to you is, what is the most, like, vivid memory you have in your life? Like, one memory that you find yourself kind of thinking about the most. Anything that stands out?
The thing that pops in my head, I don't think it's the most vivid, but I think it is my earliest.
Or I should have said frequent.
Okay, when you talk about this, I don't know what the most frequent is.
Okay.
But there is a vivid memory that pops up and it's only like 3 seconds long, but I think it's my earliest memory.
Okay.
And okay, you're scratching my dog and he's doing some weird foot thing. It's when I was a child and I think I'm upset. I don't know why I think about this, but it's when our dog Buddy was dying.
Okay.
And I remember him in the bushes under my parents' kitchen window and he had just barked at the garbage men.
Okay.
And I remember that image of him. And then later my parents told me, oh yeah, Buddy died barking at the garbage men. Mm-hmm. And then I put 2 and 2 together. And that is my earliest memory, is when right before my family dog died when I was a kid.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
And I often think about that memory because this was going around for a while. It's like people were like, what's your earliest memory? And I was like, I don't fucking know.
Right. It's hard because you have memories, but it's hard to kind of pinpoint how old you were sometimes in those early memories.
Yeah. And they've done studies and like your memory just kind of warps and does different things.
Totally. And it fills in with different things. I was reading about certain things in the brain, and something that I also saw said that when your brain like implants like a memory, right? Mm-hmm. That memory immediately can be like misconstrued, but I don't remember all the terminology, but immediately misconstrued by things that you saw or heard or smelled or tasted, whatever your senses, right before that memory and right after too.
Yes.
You know, like it's so interesting.
And also how you remember something, someone experiencing the exact same thing at the exact same time could have be remembering it completely different.
Totally.
Because of their perception of it. Mm-hmm.
And you can hear something, or there can be a part to that memory. Like I remember something with dogs, or like Louis, right? Mm-hmm. He's a pug. He's my dog. And then just because in my mind I'm thinking pug, dog, memory, right? Trying to call in a memory, I can warp some memory that I actually have with my previous pug. Like it's really interesting. Like basically you can't trust your own self.
No,
unless you have video proof of it. Like
even that, and also that is another thing is people have talked about like your earliest memory, but I have so much home footage of when I was a kid that I can't tell what I've remembered versus just videos that have been shown to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I just see it from that perspective and I'm like, oh, I kind of remember that.
I remember growing up, I was so scared of forgetting things that I used to keep a journal. And instead of writing like Dear Diary or like writing some story or whatever, I would actually write down like word for word detailed things that I didn't want to like forget.
I did that and They're in college. My best friend was going to a different college, and I was going through all this traumatic stuff, and she was like, write down in a diary things for me to like to read later. So like I don't want you to miss any details, because we only call each other once every few weeks because we didn't have the time. She was like, I want to know everything, write down all the details. And so I would keep a journal for her. And I'm so pissed because in that journal I'd be like, we had a text conversation at this time, go back and read it. And I would, because back then I could go back and look at those texts.
Right.
But 10 years later,
right,
because that's how old I am, I can't go back and look at those texts. And I'm so pissed.
No, that sucks.
Because I remember showing them to my friend, like finally meeting up with her and like during summer or something, and be like, here's the diary, here's the journal, and here are the text messages that go along with it. Because I wasn't going to sit out there and write out every text message.
That's so crazy.
I'm pissed.
Also, we grew up in a time, like our generation as kids, like video footage, phones even being able to record things. That was all new, also upcoming. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of that stuff.
No.
Yeah. One of my earliest memories, like being super young, I think, one, I actually have always had this crazy memory of like, I want to say the 1993 earthquake or 94, whatever it was, but I was so young. But I remember telling my mom, even when I was super young, that I had this constant like vision of just being in our room, laying in a crib and just everything like shaking.
What?
Yeah, but very quick, like nothing more than that. That vision's very blurry. So I don't know if I'm remembering that or if it's something that I saw.
Like people told you about it and you just kind of,
because I definitely was alive during that, but I think I was like 1 year old or something when it happened.
Oh my God.
And then the other earliest memory I have is I was terrified of like, what kid isn't going to the doctor and like shots and stuff. And I remember I went to the doctor's office and they had this little like library of books, but it was this like stand that like you could weasel yourself like behind or something.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. I didn't want to get shots. I knew I was there and I hid myself behind that little library thing. And I remember my mom screaming for me to come out. The doctors are trying to reach me and they had to get like a screwdriver or a drill or whatever. They had to unscrew the thing from the wall to be able to get me out.
Brat.
I was terrified of shots. And the other thing I remember is, Tara, if you're listening to this, talking to you. Her name was Tara. She was a nurse. I remember what sparked it too. She came up to me. She knew I was terrified of shots. And she was like, are you ready for your shots today? Like she was messing with me.
What the hell?
Yep, messing with me. And that just spiraled me.
What the fuck? Some people should not be allowed to be around children.
I know, right? I thought it was so mean. And I was the kid where you needed like 2 nurses on each limb to hold me down.
What the fuck? I was the exact opposite because I have a vivid memory. My best friend across the street was my age, and then her older sister was my sister's age.
Okay.
And I remember when we were kids, I went with them to get the older sister some booster shots. Mm-hmm. And like, it was probably just one of the things. My parents didn't want to watch me and they were like, we'll take Rachel for the day. And I went with them to a doctor's appointment.
Oh my God.
And I remember watching the older sister, who's 4 or 5 years older than me, throw a tantrum, screaming, crying because she had to get a shot. Mm-hmm. And I remember being a kid being like, she's too old for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I remember being a child
thinking
like that's really embarrassing. I'm not going to ever act like that.
Well, also I guess this probably might be a memory before that memory, because when I was really young, I had my tonsils taken out. And
you did? I didn't know this about you.
Yeah, I got my tonsils taken out, and then like maybe a week or something after, they actually opened back up, and my mom.
They can do that?
Yeah, my mom came into my room at night to check on me and found me literally like suffocating on blood coming out of my mouth. Yes. And so they had to, I actually remember this. I remember them like rushing me to the hospital, getting me in there immediately. I saw like my pajamas on, I had socks, shoes, all this stuff. All these nurses are like holding me down because it's a second surgery. They had to go in and like fix it or whatever. So after that experience, it was really hard for me to go into it like a doctor's office or anything.
Because you've had a traumatizing experience.
Yeah, especially when you get held down. And then after that, you just fight or flight, right?
I guess.
It was fight to the death.
Because you wanted to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You tried.
Terrified. Yeah.
Wow. And I was like,
even as an adult, I still, when I go to the doctor's office and have to get blood drawn, like I'm old enough now, but I still am panicking on the inside. But I have to tell myself like, it's okay. It's going to hurt a little bit. Like everything's fine. Like, but I can still feel all the like panic come back.
There's people that have a fear of needles that hate that they have a fear of needles.
Yeah.
They're like, I know I'm fine. And it's
I have
just
13 piercings and a few tattoos. So I think it's more the trauma of the doctor itself, because if it was just needles, then I wouldn't have been able to get all those other things.
Well, I have zero fear of needles, but I still get a little lightheaded, a little fluttery when I get a shot or my blood drawn.
Or when you see your blood coming out, that makes
I know not to look.
When I first getting your blood drawn, obviously they take the little vials. It's so different than donating blood, and I didn't know that, because when I donated blood and I saw how much they were taking, I was sitting in that chair like I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I felt like I was gonna pass out.
I've donated blood a couple times, and I remember I did it in high school and I was fine, and because I was like the reason I'm saying weight is because it has to do with the story. I was like 125 pounds in high school. Hadn't hit puberty yet. Did not have my birthing hips. And so I gave blood back then and I was fine. And then after, like during college, I was like, I blood drives would come. And I was like, I can give blood. Like my dad always gave blood. So to me, it was like a very normal thing to do.
Awesome. Good for you.
And I hit 150 pounds in college.
Okay.
And I'm 5'10", which is the exact cutoff to do. I don't remember what it's called. The name is lost on me at the moment. But it's they take double the amount of blood, but they put it through this like fuser thing and give you back what you need. And like they take a certain
like
type.
Like is it a stem cell thing? Like they're separating something.
They separate the white from the red and they give you one of them back and they take the other. Some bullshit. I don't remember. But they basically take twice as much blood, but they give you back what you need so you don't die. And I have O positive blood. I feel like this is creepy.
That's the one that like everyone wants, right?
I can donate to everyone except O negative.
Okay.
So I am a universal donor.
Yeah.
And so when I remember walking in and telling them my blood type and they were like, "Great, do you want to do this thing?" And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Like if it helps.
I think it helps with like cancer patients
and
stuff, right?
And I was like, sure, why not? Like I have no fear. And I passed out. And then I tried to do it again and I went to donate blood again. I was like, that's so weird. I passed out. Maybe it was one time fluke, And I went in again and I felt myself passing out because they asked her, like, will you do the thing? Well, we need you to, so you're at the weight, you can do the thing. So you'll do the thing.
Right.
And I was like, sure. And I felt myself passing out. And I was like, guys, I'm going. Like, I'm very aware. I don't try and.
Oh, you can feel it, the tingling and everything. And you can feel it.
And then they were like, oh, okay. And they had to stop the procedure and everything was a bust. Because if you stop midway, it like fucks it all up.
Oh, that sucks.
And so the third time I went in, it was my fourth time overall giving blood. I went in during 2020 and they were like, well, what's your weight? I was like 150, I'm 5'10". And they're like, you're perfect. And this is during 2020, during COVID when they needed blood.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, you can try, but I will probably pass out. I was like, I don't have a fear of needles. And they were like, and the guy was like, here's the thing they don't tell you is halfway through, we can stop it and save your blood. And then, or if you continue though, and you're past that halfway point, we can't save your blood. And he was like, so we'll check in at halfway point.
Okay.
And at the end of the halfway point, I was like, stop it.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I was mad at myself. He's like, you really can't, it is your body's natural defense system. It has nothing to do with your brain or your fear. And he's like, you're at right the cutoff, which shouldn't be the cutoff. It should be a bigger weight.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like literally 150, 110 is like the lowest you can go to do this.
Yeah.
And he was like, just tell them you're 145 from now on. And they won't bug you and they won't try. I was like, ugh, okay.
That sucks though. Because you're trying and it's like, so all that blood that pulls out just goes to waste?
Yes, unless you stop it at the exact halfway point.
They can't even put it back in.
No. And so
that's crazy.
They were like, yeah, so I was like, this is dumb.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I've successfully donated twice. And
it's hard.
I plan to try again, but
it's hard. When I was done donating, they're like, do you want any apple juice, orange juice, or cookies? And I said, yes. And they're like, what do you want? I said, all of them.
All of it.
Yeah, give it all to me.
I'm like, this is what I do. I'm like, I'll take a couple juices, please.
Yes, please.
Like a few, please.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. One thing we can do is read an entry from what pisses me off.
Let's do that.
But let's check to see if we have a sponsor for today. Sponsor. ZocDoc. ZocDoc is our sponsor for today. There are some things in life where it's okay if it ends up being a total crapshoot. Like when you try a type of new vegan milk and it ends up ruining your coffee. When you make an impulse buy on an Instagram ad and the product just comes broken. Or you try a new workout class and you end up hating the instructor. But finding the right doctor should never end up being a crapshoot. And with ZocDoc, it never is because you've got more options than you know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score some same-day appointments. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Rachel to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Rachel. ZocDoc.com/Rachel. All right, let's read. You missed the last one, which was taking silly pictures, but it was stupid. This is number 40.
Okay.
You know what pisses me off?
What?
That society doesn't accept cereal as a proper dinner. I have to disagree with myself.
Oh.
Cereal is not a proper dinner because cereal is not a proper breakfast either.
No, it's not a proper, it's a proper dessert.
Yes. So I don't even know if I should
skip. What's 50 looking like?
Well, it's 41 to
you're
41.
You're reading in order.
Okay, here we go. You know, we're gonna skip that one because I don't agree with the cereal.
We can agree. You've changed. You've grown.
We agree to disagree with my older self. Number 41. You know what pisses me off? That people really think we need to learn cursive.
Okay. I think there's a lot of people that would agree with you now, right? Because they took cursive out of the curriculum.
Yeah. The thing with this entry, though, is I wrote it in cursive.
I can't.
I said, other than to sign legal documents, what's the point? And then I wrote an entire paragraph in cursive to prove how annoying it fucking is to read in cursive.
Let me see it.
Here you go. I was funny.
Oh, that actually looks pretty nice.
It was like, I think I wrote the paragraph and then highlighted it and then put it into cursive font.
Got it.
There's no way my handwriting is like that.
I was going to say.
Goodness gracious. All right, well, let's see what number 42 has in store for us. Oh, okay. Number 42. You know what pisses me off? That society has decided that eyebrows need to be quote unquote on fleek. This book is very dated.
Please read that one.
Okay. And it reads, who decided that eyebrows can't just be normal hair on the face? Now eyebrows got to be plucked, shaped, shaded, threaded, drawn, and on fleek. And then I did a diagram of normal eyebrows, eyebrows on fleek, and eyebrows not on fleek.
Oh my goodness.
And then I go to say, I've been told that I have good eyebrows, but I have no idea what that means. That compliment is lost on me. I always knew that a unibrow was bad, but I didn't know there were other things that could go wrong with those tiny patches of hair.
How dare people give me a compliment on my eyebrows?
Why is it they're so small and random, but make such an impact on the face? This, I remember being a high schooler and grown women would come up to me and be like, oh my God, what do you do to your eyebrows?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand. They were never something I thought about. I actually remember Abby's and my first official date. We were laying in the back of my truck and we were like face to face laying down with each other, looking and talking. And she said, what do you do with your eyebrows? And I was like, nothing. And because I was like, what? And she was
like, should I do something?
And I was so confused because at that point I started filling them in a little bit.
Okay. So that really got you. You're like,
yeah, because I thought it was a negative thing. Because I've always plucked the strays, and then I started filling them in when it became more trendy to have a fuller brow.
Yeah.
And I remember her being like, what do you do? And I was like, nothing. And I was really self-conscious. It was my first time with a girl. And she was like, she said, you don't do anything? I was like, well, I pluck them and I fill them in a little bit. And she goes, oh, so you do things with them. And I was like, what?
I don't know what the right answer is.
I'm so confused. And It was because she thought they looked good.
Yes. That's why you have to start this like, wow, your eyebrows look really good. What do you do with them? If you just go, what do you do with your eyebrows?
My beautiful girlfriend sometimes doesn't preference things the best way for someone with anxiety.
It also might even trigger just our own insecurities where if she's like, what do you do with your eyebrows? Like says it in a really nice way and you're like, oh my God, she hates them.
It was not her fault, but it was like a thing that if she had phrased differently, we could have avoided.
Perception, right.
Yes.
But, and I get that a lot too, just about the little corners that I have. People ask me like, how do you get that? I'm like, no, they just grow like that.
That entry was basically being like, when did eyebrows become such a fascination?
Yeah.
Then the 90s, everyone plucked them out, and I never did that.
Oh my God, yeah, that was crazy.
And please, I am telling you, because I know that's going to come back in, don't do it.
I'm telling my my niece, who's only 5, but I was telling her the other day, I looked at her, I said, your eyelashes are so beautiful. I said, please try your best not to get any fake eyelashes when you get older, because you're going to see all the girls doing them, and you're going to want to do it. Yeah, because it ruins your eyelash. There's certain beauty things that you do, and you just like can't come back from if you do them.
No.
Yeah, eyelashes. I feel like are one of them.
I got fake ones, but it's because I never had any.
Yeah,
I really never had any.
No, that makes sense.
I've never fucked with my eyebrows. A lot of people have said like, "Oh, you'd look good if you got them microbladed, like tattooed."
Oh, I wanted
the feel of that, and I am so scared to, because yes, I would. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, one, trends go in and out so often, and I'm so scared because I've seen them go wrong.
I was gonna say my biggest fear of doing that is getting one of those colors that fades to that blue or green or that ugly color. But I've been thinking about doing the tinting. It's not permanent. It's just tinting. Yeah, that way it fades, it goes away.
The tinting though, it tints the hair and your skin for like a couple days.
Oh, really? I thought it lasted longer than that.
It dyes your hair for like a couple weeks, but your skin, it fades. But my hair is not a lighter color. My hair is my hair color.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm just so scared to do a trend that will go out.
Yeah.
So
some of the people who do microblading though, they do a good job. I look at it a lot on TikTok and stuff.
I have met one girl where I was like, if I ever did it, I would call her up to ask her where she got it done.
Oh, really?
Because I didn't even know hers were microbladed.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's how I would want to do it too.
Because I was in front of her. I was like, microblading, like, I'm scared of it because it's such a fade. And like sometimes, I said it's such a fad and like sometimes it's not done well. And she's like, well, do you like mine? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was blown away.
I was going to say a lot of people are just getting natural. They're just kind of filling in what they already naturally have.
So if I did it, I would do that. But man, I'd have to really trust who did it.
You have to see their work.
Yes.
And I would want to see somebody's work. Like, okay, do you have anyone you can show me that, do you have anyone that you could show me that has had them for 5 years? Like, I want to see also a timeline too.
Yeah, it's your face, man.
I know.
It's your face.
And it has been like a growing trend.
Yeah.
Like, because it was still a huge trend even when I was little. Because when I was little, somebody in my family, older woman, she had her eyebrows tattooed on. And they like started off super like dark, just like the lines, right? Now that she's like an older woman, it's got like this kind of greenish ring around it, you know? But again, the way they used to do it was like that solid line. It wasn't as nice as it looks now.
I had a family member, like my dad's cousin or something, that got eyeliner tattooed on her.
Oh, I seen that too.
And it was a choice. Mm-hmm. It was a choice.
I've seen that. I've seen it faded on people too. And again, when it fades, it will fade to this bluish green color.
Because it's an ink. It's a tattoo. Like just how tattoos fade.
And I saw something the other day that said your body throughout your life, because your body's changing, can become allergic to the ink in your body. This guy had this huge breakout on his tattoo that he's had for like 5+ years. And it turns out his body's just now allergic to the ink.
What do you do? Did you get it lasered off?
I don't know. I liked it so I could go back and see what he does later.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That's intense.
Yeah, nasty.
Ugh. All right. Today I've just asked Instagram to ask Joy and I questions, and we're just going to do that.
Yes.
And just conversations, whatever happens. What's your go-to non-alcoholic drink?
I
don't think an energy substance of some sort for me.
Go-to non-alcoholic drink? Well, usually I would probably say root beer, but I don't really drink soda that much anymore.
That's my thing is I don't drink a lot of one thing.
I mean, I got
coffee.
I always have my water with me. I guess coffee. Yeah.
If I were to go to a restaurant, I'd order a soda water.
Yeah. If I were to go to a restaurant and I wanted to like get something that I don't normally get anymore, it would be like root beer or Shirley Temple. Maybe that's like also a little special drink, you know?
Yeah. Those are good options.
Yeah.
We don't, I feel like if you drink.
Getting the vodka soda is the special drink.
It is.
Because I really just drink water, tea, and coffee.
I drink coffee, sparkle water, and I'll do Olipop's, but not a certain flavor and not all the time.
Oh, I do LaCroix now.
I like a Celsius if I need to film because it's the only thing that can really get me the energy.
We're boring now.
We really are. I'm sorry. How long have you and Joy been friends for? I don't know, 4, 5 years?
You think I count years? I don't even know.
I don't know. Should we
have
a friend anniversary?
We should. We actually should.
We can go back and see the date that we met.
Yeah, because the date we met, wasn't that the day I took that picture of because it was Pitbull Day or National Pitbull Day? Yeah, we can figure it out.
And then we should have a friend anniversary.
Yes, and when we hit our 5 years, we should go on a vacation.
Okay, I was going to say we should buy each other presents, but that is your fear in life is buying someone else a present. So we will not
I'll get you a really nice gift card.
You love a fucking
gift card. It's just hard to buy for people because all my friends are very stable people that can buy everything for themselves.
Yeah.
And I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you moved into your house, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the biggest, the one big purchase I make for her. I was going to buy you one of those little robot cleaner up floor thingies.
I already had one. Yeah. And I don't even use it. I can't get that thing to connect to Wi-Fi.
Now I've learned that they're awful. So,
they're the worst.
Yeah, it's not just you. I've had so many people I've gone in their homes like, oh, what do you think about that? They're like, I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Someone asked, I asked Joy if I could ask this before we started, and she said yes. Has Joy ever had any quote unquote experiences with women? Hashtag happy pride.
Yes. Next question.
What a great conversation starter.
No, you know what? I actually think about this like every now and then, especially because ever since you and Emily have come into my life, like it's made me contemplate things differently. Because I grew up in a very Christian home, and so
you're like, I'm straight. I just think about kissing my best friend.
It was just friend. It was just fun. You know, I don't think I was capable of allowing my mind to see past. It's just fun. When probably internally I really did. No, not probably. I know I had feelings now that I can look back on it.
Yeah,
but in the moment, my mind just could not move past that. I'm like, this is just fun. Here's my next boyfriend. You know what I mean?
I'm going to validate you because that's how I lived.
Yeah.
I explained away every feeling, every impulse, and was like, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm clearly straight.
Clearly.
And then once you realize it, everything, when you look back, it all clicks.
But I don't think I even had a realization of like, oh, I probably like girls too. Until like I was already really happy in a straight relationship. So, you know, I love Dylan.
Is
we
this
do
you
great
coming
together.
out as bi?
Probably.
Can I make it my
I was gonna say Joy comes out. I was gonna say, is it? I don't even. Is it okay to say like I don't? For me personally, I'm like I don't even know if it's like coming out. Like it's just me.
That is exactly how everyone should come out.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna monetize it and profit off of it.
Do it.
So,
but I loved. Don't get me wrong. I love the relationship I'm in. But I always
oh my God, we love Dylan so much.
So he's amazing. But I always said if for some reason him and I weren't together in the future, I would 100% either be like single for the rest of my life and I'd live with you and just take care of all the dogs and it'd be great.
Apparently, I had to get a roommate.
Or I would never date men again, ever. I just could not see it.
Well, after Dylan, I don't think you could get a guy that's nicer.
Never. That's why I'm like, if Dylan and I didn't work out, it would be because either I'm a piece of shit and I did something wrong, or because something tragic happened. Like there's just no, and I don't see either of those two things happening.
So she's praying. Yeah. Okay, great. So I'm just gonna say it so I can title it. Joy is coming out as bi. Thank you. This isn't news to me.
No, it's not.
But it's something you're announcing to the world. Okay, just moving on because that was all there had to be said about that. What is a mannerism that you picked up from the other person? I want to say, Abby has picked this up from you, and I say it every once in a while. You always say like, I'm crying.
Yes.
I'm dying.
Everyone's
dead.
Says that now.
Yeah, and so when
screaming,
the monotoned crying, screaming.
That is so funny.
I think that's really funny. I don't think you've picked up any from me.
I'm trying to think. What have I picked up from you?
I don't know. You and Abby do this little
Yes,
like
I definitely have picked up this.
It's like crab hands when you want someone's puff.
Or just want something, or
you want a shot. Yeah, when
just something.
Basically, when it's something bad.
Or even when she's scheming and I just catch her like across the room and she'll just go. I'm like, what is she thinking?
Yeah, the little crab hands
Yeah.
for sure. I don't think you've picked up anything from me.
I'm trying to think.
I don't even know what my little
your things
mannerisms are.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wow, I'm a really boring person. Well, while you think on that, I need to change my battery.
What I picked up from you is I pretend. Well, you know how to do it, but I pretend. I'm like, yeah, Rachel can do it, so can I. And I'm like pulling out measurements, and I'm like, yeah,
you picked up my fake confidence.
Yes,
my square root. You don't square.
My square root of my width times height is
times length times depth.
Yep, it's 1/4 plus 1/3 minus a half.
That's math I can't do. So you picked up my fake confidence.
There you go.
I love that. That's something.
Fake it till you make it.
There it is. All day long. That's what I live by. All right, I got to change the battery in this camera. So let's check to see if another sponsor for today. Sponsor. And we're back. What's your opinion on nudist beaches? I think there's too many old white men there. That's my opinion.
I think that nudist beaches, I think there should be nudist beaches that
are women only?
Yes, and have age ranges. So it's like, if you're between this age and this age, you can go on this one.
Honestly, I don't care about seeing older women.
Yeah.
Let your boobs hang low, let them wobble to and fro.
I did see something really interesting on TikTok and I was trying to decide how I felt about it. But basically it's this family who lives in Oregon and their kids, young kids, they play out front in their house all the time. And they have this neighbor across the street who might, from what it sounds like, because the police were saying, it sounds like she might have a mental disability, or there's a lot of things that have gone on that have caused her to be a little more not herself.
Okay.
Like her dog recently died, somebody in her family passed away, as I learned watching more of the videos. But in Oregon, it's fully legal for you to be nude. You just can't be sexually
gratifying yourself.
Yeah, in front of kids or minors or anything like that. But she basically walks around the neighborhood naked and
I don't like that.
The parents have had a few instances where she's walking by their house on the sidewalk and the kids are playing in the front yard and she just stops and just stands there and kind of stares at the kids for a minute until they're finally you've got to go. And the kids are just staring at her naked body. But the police can't do anything about it because
she's not doing anything illegal in the state of Oregon.
Yeah. So that was and my mind was really wrapping around that because I'm like, okay, well, naked body is a naked body. Maybe if we just desensitize people to it at a young age and we're like, oh, boobs are boobs and butts are butts and penises and whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, it's okay, well, then you also have to worry about what are the underlining thoughts that this person could be having or and you also can't deny the fact that a child seeing a naked adult that is going to do something to their brain and I just was thinking, I'm where do I stand with this? I'm what an interesting law, what an interesting situation to be in. And the dad was furious because the cops couldn't do anything. The cops were frustrated because they couldn't do anything. I just don't know where I would stand on something like that.
I'm not for people just walking around naked because mainly sanitary reasons.
Well, the cop was saying he's got a guy in his neighborhood that jogs every morning naked and just has shoes and socks on.
No. Women, okay.
So don't move to Oregon.
I would feel like a man, you'd need to hold your things securely, and as women, you need to hold your boobs securely.
It is a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's real. It's happening.
Immediately I thought of this meme that was women would love to have their boobs out. If men stopped acting creepy about it, they would be able to see them more. Y'all are ruining it for yourselves, which is true. And my thing about if everyone was naked, the creepos would ruin it. And I think that's what's happened.
Yeah.
And so forever,
But I've also seen the other side of people saying they think that if it was more regular, common, or normalized or desensitized, maybe we'd have less.
But then what would be the argument when a woman got SA'd?
Right.
Would she be asking for it?
Exactly.
And I honestly feel like a lot of it is safety for women because the world is disgusting.
Totally.
And sanitary reasons.
Yeah.
I've got guys are always more willing to be naked than women. Like, I have so many guy friends that are like, we love being naked.
Let's take our shirts off.
Like, one of like the biggest guys in our groups, no, all of the biggest guys, the bigger the guy, the more they want to be naked. And I'd, like,
clothes are so restricting.
Yeah, they hate it. And and one of them, I know because his ex told me this, would do yoga in the morning naked, and she'd walk out and just his bare butt in the air doing yoga. And I'm like, that is it's too much. That's too much for me.
That's a lot of love.
So,
right
like,
there.
a nudist beach, I have no problems with it.
No.
I don't know if I'd ever really go and fully participate. I might go topless.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take my bottoms off, mainly because I wouldn't want my coochie touching the sand.
But I do think that they're nice to have for the people who desire that kind of thing.
Yes, I think there's a time and a place.
I think I think that if we can have certain things that certain people desire in moderation, it can be good and like healthy.
Yeah.
Like I saw something about how when it comes to like our drug problem, there's some sort of program, something that they were considering where people would be able to kind of come and get this fix, but do it safely kind of thing.
Yeah, they do that in Canada and like Vancouver especially, and it's actually proven to work really well.
I was going to say, it makes sense. That makes sense to me.
They give them clean needles.
Yeah.
So they don't.
Do it safely.
Yeah, and they give them a place to shoot up so that if they overdose, they have a staff there to help.
Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah. I love that. But the nudist thing, like, you give them a place to be nude.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Right. It scratches their itch for them.
Yeah. I think in the society we live in right now, a nudist, everyone being nude just isn't feasible.
Yeah. But me personally, my idea of being nude in public just raises a lot of alarm bells and safety bells.
Yeah, safety, because we're women.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about how we think an extra little layer of fabric is going to stop us from getting assaulted. But also, that extra layer of fabric could convince a jury that we weren't asking for it.
I was going to say, I also get nervous that those kind of environments draw in people that you might need to be wary of.
All right.
One more. A few more.
We'll see. Okay. I got a feet comment. I've been needing to say this. If your fetish isn't like affecting anyone else, I don't care.
Great.
Do your thing, whatever. If you like knees, calves, I don't care. Hair in your mouth as you do things. I don't care.
Doing weird things to
as long
weird
as the
fruits
person,
and vegetables.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
If it involves another person, as long as that person is a consenting adult, do your thing. Who am I?
Right.
I don't hear of many other fetishes except a foot fetish.
Okay.
And I have to say, feet fetish people are the most out there, bold. They have the audacity of them.
I used to work with this guy that used to beg me to send him pictures of my feet.
They have no shame.
No, he would walk up to me when I was working and go, "Can I see your feet today? Did you get your nails done?" He would beg me. It was so crazy.
It is insane. I am not a consenting participant in your foot fetish, just so everyone knows. But I get so many comments about my feet, and I'm like, the amount that you would be just if you were like
you need an OnlyFans page
else,
for your feet.
I could do it. They get too greedy though. That's the fucking thing. Is they have no shame, and they shouldn't. But I'm not consenting to this. Therefore, I'm against you being obsessed with my feet. I didn't consent to it.
I say if you don't really have a choice, if you can't beat them, join them. Make some money off it.
No, I refuse to pleasure a man in any sense of the word. I refuse.
That's so
People
funny.
have always asked me, like, they're like, would you ever do an OnlyFans? And I'm like, personally, no. And one of the main reasons, like, I'm like,
because you can't control who views it.
Correct. Yeah. I do not want to give a man sexual pleasure in any way.
You're like, nope.
Not a chance.
I get that.
Also, like, I also think that porn is a terrible industry that has ruined a lot of how people view sex. Yeah. And they demand and expect more from it. Yeah. And have unrealistic expectations from it. But I have nothing against sex workers. Again, if you can't beat them, join them. That's how a lot of people work, and that's you do you. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't have any other type of fetish. I don't hear of like any of that. Foot fetish people, man, they're on that, and they will talk about it, and they do not care.
They have no shame.
I the shit, and I had a comment that was like, oh my God, that post she did at the timestamp, her foot looks so good. And they had like 5 comments on her, like, yeah, I noticed that too. And I'm like, what the God? Imagine if they said that about your boobs, how they would get attacked, being like, don't fucking sexualize her like that. But people are like,
over your feet.
All right. With the feet people, like people are like, okay.
That's
and like
crazy.
no one's like, hey, that's so disrespectful.
Right. Because it's your feet.
Because it's your feet. But I'm like, no, it is disrespectful. You're sexualizing a piece of me.
So if you see these comments, stick up for Rachel.
Yes. It's the same as, imagine it's the same as they commented about my boobs if they existed. If they comment about my feet.
At least they're not saying your feet are ugly.
Well, no, don't be a bully. Obviously, I'd rather them be pretty than ugly. But I'm saying, like, I've noticed that feet people get away with so
much
again,
more.
I am not saying, if you're like into feet, cool, happy for you.
Yes.
You get your jollies off just walking around.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine, you're not hurting anyone. But if you are like aggressive about it, it's the same as if someone was being super aggressive about your boobs or your ass. Like,
it just makes you feel vulnerable, and like a part of you is being sexualized and you don't get a choice about it.
I was going to test a product today that was like a crack solver, like some for your cracked feet or whatever. And I put it on, and I was in the middle of filming, and I said, I don't want to film this.
Yeah.
And I turned the camera off because I didn't want my feet to be sexualized.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care if you're into feet, but I don't want mine sexualized because I'm not consenting to that.
Yeah.
And it's the same way I don't have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I'm not consenting to that.
That's the hard part with being on the internet too, is you don't know what people are into, what they're screenshotting, what they're saving.
And there's times where I do post pictures where I know I'm trying to look better. And in those moments I am saying, yes, you can sexualize me. And it has to do with consent.
Yeah.
When I'm in my underwear, I do not consent to you looking at me. When I'm in my bikini, I do.
Yeah.
And there's the line. And with sexual things, consent is the thing.
Yeah.
And I don't consent to my feet being sexualized.
Well, you've heard it here. Maybe that should be the title of your podcast.
I'd get more clicks with you being bi. So sorry, you can't change that. You are bisexual in the end.
Scream. What other questions we got? Let me pick one.
We can just end it here at this. But wait, I'm going to make sure Abby didn't text us that. No, our food is not ready yet.
Let me pick one.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Let me refresh. Because sometimes Instagram doesn't refresh for a very long time.
Okay.
Here we go. No, that's my really cool picture of me being a dad. So here you go. You can scroll through that.
Let me see. Oh, I like this. What's your favorite thing about each other?
If you listen to me rant, you love my dogs, you're always there for me, you're really funny, you're a good time, and you don't get mad if I like disappear.
Oh, I love that. My favorite things about you are that I feel like I learn a lot of things from you.
Oh, I can be myself around you. Okay, keep going.
I love that. I feel like I learn a lot of things from you, which I truly enjoy. I don't feel like there's a lot of people in life that you can learn a lot of things from.
All right, I love that.
And I enjoy that. I love that you are so kind and caring, and we always have like a lot of fun together. I love that. I feel like we can talk without any judgment.
Yeah.
I love that you love my boys too.
Yeah.
And I love the way that we met. We met through like, my biggest passion, which I think is great. I love that. And I love that you live by the beach, and now we do too.
You love my location.
Your location. Well, this is a good one. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
It's a hot dog.
It's a hot dog. It's its own category.
Like, yeah.
It's
what
a hot dog.
classifies a sandwich?
Something between 2 pieces of bread, but a hot dog is in between 1 piece of bread that has been sliced.
Yes.
So there's your answer.
But technically, so has the other ones, right? Like if you go to Jersey Mike's, it's one loaf
sub.
of bread.
It's a sub.
Okay.
So maybe is a hot dog a sub? I don't know.
Well, let me see.
That it's really just, it's a hot dog.
Oh my gosh, do you ever wonder what it would be like if you just stayed in the closet? That's an awful thought.
Oh my God. I wonder if I would have ever broken up with what's his face.
How often did you think about the possibility you could be gay while you were in a relationship with a boy?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I really did not think I was gay.
So it really didn't start hitting you until when, like you said, when you were scrolling.
And once it hit me, I was like, I am gay and I have to get out of this relationship.
Really? Wow.
Well, I was already wanting to get out of the
Even
relationship.
as younger, like you never thought to yourself, like.
No, because I remember.
It wasn't a thought your brain would let you like.
No, and I don't think people will ever believe me, but that's why I believe like you when you're like, I would I didn't think I was, but I would have all these experiences and just be like, well, we're best besties and it's fun. Because I remember I was watching Rosie O'Donnell when I was little, and she was talking about how she realized she was gay. And she said, I said it out loud to myself in my car. And I went, yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay. And so I sat as a little kid and I said, or not as a little kid, I was like maybe 12, 13 or whatever. And I said, I'm gay. And I went, nah, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, really?
And like, I genuinely tried. Like I've always been open to the idea.
That's
like
interesting.
I've never been homophobic or disgusted or whatever by that. And I think a lot of the time I maybe became defensive about it because of, if you know me now, I'm a stereotypical like lesbian. I love Lowe's and woodworking and all that shit. But back then, like I was that, but I was straight and people would always tell me I was gay. And I was like, and then I became very like, this is just who I am. You don't have to be gay to like this.
Right.
And I think because people told me I was gay, it made me defensive and more secure in being straight and liking those things.
Totally.
But I really did multiple times be like, am I gay? And I would think about it and I'd be like, no, because I like guys.
Do you remember your first like experience with gay? Like first going like, oh, this is a thing.
Like what gay was?
Yeah.
Well, my mom told me when I was a little kid.
Oh, she did?
Like being gay was always, I always knew what being gay was.
Okay. You didn't have family members you saw growing up that were gay, did
No,
you?
and that was another thing is representation was very, very limited, that the only gays that I ever saw were really dykey women, and that's not my type.
Right.
So I didn't know that there were
other
hot, like into my brain attractive.
Different categories.
Yeah, different categories.
Yeah.
Like femme, athletic.
Yeah.
Kind of like STEM.
Like with boys, how you have like your skater boy or your surfer boy or
That wasn't a thing. And like I thought I liked boys, but what I liked was the attention.
Yeah.
Because that's what there weren't women giving me that attention.
And for years, your brain is also telling you like, this is what you're supposed to like.
Well, we're trained.
This is what you're supposed to like.
Yeah. You're trained that your worth is in if a boy, the cutest boy likes you. Mm-hmm. So you're like, okay.
Yep.
And also
my brain took that and said, so I need them all.
Yes. Get them all. Yeah. It's like, I'm clearly all these guys like me, so I'm great. But my friends,
I remember I used to count at night in bed and be like, wow, this person likes me and this person likes me and this.
My friend John told me that because he was a very gay boy, but he dated women back in high school and college, and he said like, but they didn't believe that he would ever be gay because he would get hard, and he's like, baby, friction's friction.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
That's what I realized later. I was like, I would,
especially when you're younger and it's still new. Like it's the first time you're like,
yeah,
this is being touched. Like you're gonna be stimulated.
Yeah,
like,
it's like you close your eyes and whatever.
Yeah, I have somebody that was really good friends with in school that is gay now, but in school growing up, I just would have never thought. But like, I don't know now. I mean, they're living there. There's actually two people that I would not have ever thought didn't. Well, now I guess looking back, because one of them was a girl and she really overcompensated on the men area. So I guess now looking back, you could kind of be like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and she was a woman hater. And I think she was a woman hater because she was a woman lover. Yeah. You know what I mean? She's like, I love you too much at night, so I got to stay away from you.
I really wish, I would love to see a world in which there wasn't sexuality or people weren't, like there wasn't gay or straight. It was just like,
people just
who are you attracted to?
Just open to just figure out who
not what are you attracted, but who are you attracted to?
Yeah.
And just to see who would end up dating people. I think a lot of best friends would just end up dating each other.
Totally. It didn't really start hitting me that this was an okay thing until I was in high school. And I had one friend in choir. It's always choir.
Yeah.
And she loved people like of all genders and everything. And when she would kind of talk about it and explain it to me, it just made so much sense to me. I remember just love is love, you know? And that really started to open my mind so much more too.
Yeah. I grew up a very conservative household. But I was always taught we love everybody and no one's gross. Like,
yeah,
that's
I was the
not
opposite.
Gross. It's just it's wrong in the eyes of the Lord. But it's not something we shun. And then when I got to college, I met people whose like moms were lesbians and stuff, and they were like, "No, that's all bullshit." And I was like, oh, "Okay." So my view on gay people didn't change, but my views on the laws of gay people, changed.
Yeah. My household was more like, it's not. They were like hypocritical. It's not okay, but it's not our place to judge. But also, we're gonna go out and actively vote against it. Right. Last question.
Okay.
If you could swap bodies for a day, what's the thing you'd be most excited about?
Oh, you and I swapping bodies?
I saw it. Yeah, I already saw you look. I know.
What would you be excited
I
about?
was gonna say I'll go. I'd be most excited to be just like tall and strong. I just want to walk around and look down at everybody.
Just
and I want to pick up things.
Just stretch around, do a lunge here
Yeah,
and there.
exactly. I'd probably go for a run, you know? I really feel like I could do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I would try to do a pull-up.
I could do one.
I'd do a couple push-ups. I do
I've got
things that I've never been able to do.
I got a bad shoulder, so you would be like, you'd walk around, you'd be like, I can do everything. You'd be like, why do my knees and shoulder hurt so bad?
Like, well, this isn't as strong as I thought it was going to be.
You're like, I can do things like curl them, but I can't lift them above my head. It pops and stuff.
Yeah, and I think I'd also, just for the fuck of it, as you, I'd take myself, like, I don't know, somewhere. Like, Six Flags, Disneyland, the mall, someplace, and I'd just be like, it is me, Rachel Ballinger. I just want to know what it's like to have all these little sweet people come up to you and go, oh my God, I love you, blah, blah, blah.
They are
and
very
like take a
sweet.
picture with them. I'd probably do that too. I just see what it's like.
I love
if we're
you.
being real honest, you know?
Oh my God, I love you.
And then
I'd pet Suka. I'd pet your dog. I'd pet Suka.
There you go.
Because I can hang out with him, but I can't pet him. And
Yeah.
I would pet him because he lets you pet him.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh. All right. We're going to end this because I don't want to edit more. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I love you.
I love you. Please leave questions for next week. And you guys are beautiful, wonderful people. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet where you can find the uncensored version of me, Rachel Ballinger. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, or follow, or do whatever this platform tells you to do so that you can get notified every time I post a new episode. Love ya!